Hello, welcome to SMTech. Today we are going to solve the day 9 of September Lead Code Challenge. So today's problem name is compare version numbers. Okay. So basically, if you read the problem statement, it's saying that we will be given two string and we need to probably convert that string into a number, and we need to compare those two numbers. Okay. So let's try to see the given example that will give us much better understanding. Okay. So you can see that the first string is 0.1 and second string is 1.1, right? So if you remove the point, right, so point are not required while comparing. They are saying, if you read the problem statement, it's saying that we should not consider the points. Okay. So if you remove that, then you can if you check that the 0.1 is less than 1.1, right? So in this case we should return -1 because the second number or second version 2 is larger than version 1. But if version 1 is larger, in that case we are going to return +1. Okay. So these are the return type we need to consider, right? So you can check that it's given in the problem statement only. Okay. And what else? So suppose if both the numbers are equals, so in that case we need to return 0. Okay. So suppose we have this. Please check this example 5, right? Here you can see the first number is 1.0 and second number is 1.0.0. So that means 0 as we should not compare 0. That means both numbers are 1 only, right? Both the versions are similar. So we can return 0 in this case. Okay. So this is the problem statement. So I think it's pretty straightforward. So directly write the code for the same. So what I will do, I will take two string. I will split this string based on points, right? So suppose if I split this string, it will be 1 and 0. Then we can compare each and every value of the two splitted strings. Okay, so let's do that, and then we can check the value comparison, and then we can return a result according to that. Okay, so let's write the code for the same. So as I already said, so I am going to take two string array. So one in the first array, probably let us name it as v1. In this we are going to split the first version version 1 string. Okay, so we can use inbuilt Java split method to split the string that will return a string array. Okay, so it should be version 1 dot split, and we are splitting based on full stop or point, right? So it should be like this. Okay, and similarly we will do the same for version 2. Okay, so let's do the same for the version 2 quickly. So again I will declare another array, probably let us name it as v2 only, and here again we will split the version 2 string based on the full stop position. Okay, or point position. Once we are done, then we need to iterate through these two array, right? So we need to loop in. So we can take while loop. So before we take while loop, we need to take one counter variable, right? Let us take it as a count I equals to 0. So initially it will be 0, and we will iterate through the v1 or v2 length. Okay, so it should be while, and I should be less than v1 dot length. So it's not mandatory that both the string length will be equal, right? In some cases version 1 length will be much greater than version 2. In some cases version 2 can be greater than version 1. Okay, so we need to consider both the scenario. So I should be less than, either it should be less than version 1 length, or I should be less than v2 dot length. Okay, fine. Now what else? Now I need to compare the value, right? So the if I is less than v1 and v2, then only we can compare, right? But suppose I already iterate through v1 and v2 length was lesser, then we don't need to compare, right? So we need to check that condition also. So if so basically it should be the same condition with and. Okay, so if I is less than both string length, then we can do the comparison, actual comparison between the two value of the string arrays. Okay, whatever is splitted. So it should be like this. So now I will check the value, right? So before we can do like this, if. So since it's a string, we need to convert it into integer, right, before comparing. So we are going to use integer dot parseInt, and we are going to compare with at first I will check if my v1 is greater than v2, then we need to return 1, right? So let's do that. So it should be parse v2. If it is satisfying this condition, then we are going to return then we are going to return 1. Okay, so similarly we need to check that if v1 is less than v2, in that case we can return -1, but if it is equal, then we need to keep iterating, because we never know, right, what are our next value, right, or next integer value. So it should be else if, and it should be okay, so it should be integer v1 less than v2, then we can return -1. Okay, and if it is equal, then we will keep looping. Okay, and suppose when my v1 length is larger than v2, then we need to just iterate through the remaining element of v1, and we need to decide according to that. Okay, so let's write logic for the same also. So else if, and here I will check if I is only less than v1 length. Okay, so in that case, what should we do? We need to check only one logic, that if it should be integer dot parseInt v1 not equal to 0, then we can return 1. So why we are doing this? Because you can see that in some example, right, so suppose it's 1.0.1, so if I found 0, then 0 has no value, right, then we need to keep iterating. Okay, if it is suppose 1.1.1, then we can return directly that, okay, my first number is larger. Okay, but if it is 0, then we need to keep checking. So, and there should be another condition where I can be, where v2 length can be greater than v1, right. So in that case, we will write similar logic. It should be I less than v2 dot length, and we are going to check that particular v2 value is greater and not equal to 0 or not, right. So it should be obviously v2i. Okay, again everything will be v1 of I. It should be v1 of I, and again it should be v2 of I. Okay, so again in this case we can return, that means my second number is larger, and if it is equal, then only we can, so if it is not returning inside any of these if-else condition, then we can increment our I, and we can keep checking. Okay, and if it is not returning anything, that means both numbers are equal, right, we can return 0 from at the end. Okay, so let's quickly run our code and check whether it's compiling or not. Okay, so there was some compilation error. It should not be a closing bracket here. Let's quickly run it once again. Okay, I think it's giving us the expected answer. Let's quickly submit our answer and check whether it's accepted or not. Okay, I think our solution is also accepted. So let's try to analyze the code and try to analyze the time and space complexity here, right? So we are taking extra space, obviously, right? We are taking two array. So in Oates scenario, our space complexity can be maximum of either v1 dot length or v2 dot length, or version1 dot length or version2 dot length. Whatever the maximum value, that will be our maximum value of our solution. So it should be order of max version1 dot length comma version2 dot length. So that will be our space complexity. Okay, because we are splitting, right? And what will be our time complexity here? So again we are iterating through while loop. Again it will be same only, right? So if the both string has n length or equal length, then it will be order of n, or it can be maximum of either version1 length or version2 length. Okay, so I think that's pretty much for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to our channel, and if you still have some doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.